She once told me that time has a strange way of holding our hands. It doesn't rush. It doesn't pull. It just walks with us, quietly waiting for the moment when we are finally ready to hear what was always meant to be heard. And that day when she sat on her beige couch under the soft gold light with a gentle sparkle drifting in the air, she finally decided that she was ready. Her smile looked warm, but there was a quiet tremble behind it, the kind that only appears when a heart has been carrying something too heavy for too long. Her hands rested gently on her lap, and for a moment she looked like someone trying to gather memories that had been scattered across decades. She inhaled slowly, and when she exhaled it felt like she was finally releasing a truth she never thought she would say out loud. "I wasn't always this calm," she began, her voice soft but steady, "and I wasn't always this strong. Life shaped me. Sometimes kindly, sometimes with storms that I thought would drown me." She took another breath, as though the air around her carried pieces of the past. Through the window, the soft glow of afternoon light wrapped around her face, highlighting the years she had lived, the love she had given, and the battles she had survived. When she was younger, she believed everything had to be perfect. The perfect smile, the perfect silence, the perfect way of hiding a heartbreak so deep that even the moon wouldn't dare ask about it. She remembered the first time she learned that disappointment can wear a gentle face. It was the day she realized that people can love you and still leave you. People can promise you the world and still walk away without offering even a goodbye. And people can laugh with you at sunset and forget you by sunrise. But even then she kept loving. She kept hoping. She kept believing that there must be a reason behind every broken piece. For years she carried questions that never received answers and wounds that never received apologies. And yet she smiled. The world saw the smile, but not the weight behind it. They saw her strength, but not the nights when she whispered to herself, wanting someone to whisper back. They saw the elegant woman she had become, but not the fragile girl she used to be. She leaned back against the couch, as if sinking softly into her memories. "People think strength comes from what you survive," she said, "but real strength comes from the moments you decide to keep going even when survival hurts." Her eyes softened, as though she were staring into a version of herself she hadn't visited in years. She spoke about the day love betrayed her, the day trust cracked, and the day she realized sometimes family wounds you without even knowing they did. But life has its own way of healing. Slowly, patiently, silently. One day she woke up and felt something different, a small but unmistakable shift inside her chest, as though her heart had decided it no longer wanted to bleed for things that were long gone. She said healing didn't happen in a single moment. It happened in thousands of small moments when she chose peace over anger, forgiveness over bitterness, and herself over the people who couldn't choose her. Then her voice changed. It became warmer, softer, almost glowing. She talked about the people life later brought to her, the ones who treated her gently, the ones who made space for her laughter, the ones who listened to her pauses, the ones who saw her not as a burden, but as a blessing. They reminded her that she still had chapters left to live, that her story wasn't over, that she deserved joy even after pain. They reminded her that hearts can break, but they can also bloom. She spoke about the day she realized she was proud of the woman she had become. Proud of her journey. Proud of her scars. Proud of the softness she never allowed life to steal from her. She learned that joy isn't something you search for. It's something you decide to allow in. Joy arrives when you stop expecting life to be fair and start trusting that life will be meaningful. Joy grows when you learn to love yourself the way you always wish someone else had loved you. Time kept moving as she spoke. Her words filled the room the way warm sunlight fills an early morning kitchen. She talked about forgiveness, not as something you give others, but something you give yourself. She talked about letting go not as a loss, but as a liberation. She talked about family, and how sometimes the people who hurt you are the same ones you end up healing from. And she talked about truth. Truth that hides truth, that waits truth, that finally rises when your heart becomes tired of carrying silence. Hours passed, but her voice never wavered. It carried stories of youth and age, of heartbreak and mending, of fear and courage, of memories that once felt too sharp to touch. She shared the moments when she fell apart and the moments when she put herself back together, piece by piece, thread by thread, breath by breath. She spoke about the laughter. She finally reclaimed the nights. She finally slept in peace the mornings when she woke up and realized that she no longer felt alone inside her own skin. Her story grew deeper as she spoke of love. Love lost, love found, love rediscovered within herself. She talked about the day she learned that some people come into your life only to teach you how to let them go, and others come to show you what staying truly means. She described the feeling of finding peace after a lifetime of noise. She talked about gentle moments, sipping tea near a window, reading old letters, holding memories like fragile petals. She talked about how aging isn't something to fear. It's something to honor. It means you lived, it means you felt, it means you survived what tried to break you. By the time her narration reached the final hour, her voice became almost like a lullaby. Calming, soft, warm. She spoke about gratitude, the kind that doesn't shout but sits quietly in your chest, reminding you that every breath is a gift. She said that even the hardest years taught her something she needed to know. Even the loneliest nights pushed her toward the version of herself she had always been meant to become. And even the people who hurt her played their part in shaping the wisdom she now carried so gracefully. And finally she smiled again. The same soft, glowing smile in the picture you shared. A smile not of someone who never suffered, but of someone who survived beautifully. She whispered that if her story reaches even one person who feels unheard, then her pain had a purpose. If her voice comforts even one heart, then her healing was worth it. And if her truth helps someone find theirs, then her journey was never in vain. By the end of her story, time felt still, as though every moment she had lived was now resting peacefully around her. She adjusted her necklace, slightly lifted her chin with quiet confidence, and exhaled one final breath of truth, the kind of truth that frees a soul. "I didn't tell my story to be understood," she said softly. "I told it so someone out there remembers that they are not alone anymore."